Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, as you know, we are going to be doing A-level physics. This is the first class. Have you taken paper 1, paper 2 and paper 3? And the A2 part consists of two components, that is paper 4 and paper 5. So in total, in this subject, you have 5 components to attempt, that is 5 papers to do. If I look further into these papers, you will find that paper 1 is MCQs, just like you had in your IGCSEs, or if you have, you must have gone for extended level, right? So it's paper 2 in IGCSEs, the multiple choice. Paper 2 at A levels is structured questions. Yes, it's structured questions. You have to write answers. Paper 3 is a practical paper. It's a performance paper. It's just like paper 5 in IGCSEs. You must have gone for paper 6, that is an alternate to practical.
Yeah, I have.
Right. So in this year, you are going to be performing the practical. You're going to be performing experiments in paper 3. And if you look at A2 level, it's structured paper 4. Paper 4 is the structured paper. Just in a similar way, you are going for paper 2 in AS, or it was your paper 4 in IGCSEs, right, in which you had to write the answers. Then it's paper 5, which is the design and analysis paper. It's more of a planning paper, in which you have to plan an experiment, in which you have to design an experiment, right? So if you go back to your IGCSEs, the planning question you did in IGCSE paper 6, that would help a little, but it's not too much. It's a completely different paper. If we look at the time duration, we have two types of time durations in our A levels. One is 1 hour 15 minutes and the other one is 2 hours. So any paper you are going to be appearing in AS or A2 level, it will have either 1 hour 15 minute duration or a 2 hour duration, right? So if I look at 1 hour duration papers, paper 1 MCQs, that is 1 hour 15 minutes. Paper 2, the structured question is 1 hour 15 minutes. Paper 5, the A2 level, it's also 1 hour 15 minutes. But if I look at paper 3 and paper 4, they are 2 hours paper. Paper 3, you have been given 2 hours. Paper 4, you have been given 2 hours. So paper 3 is a practical paper in which you are going to be performing. Paper 4 is a structured question in which you are going to be writing descriptive answers. Coming to the number of questions, if you look at paper 1, it has 40 questions. If you look at paper 2, it has around 7 to 8 questions, sometimes 7 questions, sometimes 8 questions. And if you look at paper 3, it has only 2 questions to attempt. Like in IGCSEs, you had around 4 or 5 questions in paper 6, that was the ATP. Now this performance paper has only 2 questions. Then if you look at the A2 level, that's P4, you have around 11 to 12 questions, sometime 11, sometime 12 questions in paper 4. And then if you look at paper 5, you have again 2 questions. So paper 3 at AS and paper 5 at A2 has the same number of questions, but the timing is different. If I look at paper 5 is more based on paper 3. If you are good at paper 3, if you are good at performing practicals, then definitely that's gonna help you in paper 5 to plan your experiment, to design your experiment, to write your experiment. If I look at the marks, paper 1 is 40 questions, 40 MCQs, so it's 40 marks. Paper 2, it's 60 marks. Paper 3, it's 40 marks. So at AS level, you have a 40 marker paper, you have a 60 marker paper, you have a 40 marker paper, the third one. In total, you have 140 marks at AS level. If you look at A2, you have 100 marker paper 4 and a 30 marks paper 5. So in total, you have 130 marks at A2 level. And since you are going for accelerated, you are going to be giving all these 5 papers in 1 year, so you have a total of 130 plus 140. How much does that make it up? 270. You have 270 marks in total, right? Am I audible there?
Yeah, you are.
Alright, so you have a total of 270 marks, 130 plus 140. Now, going further, okay. If I talk about the weightage, how much each of these components is going to contribute to your grade. So in AS level, you have a maximum grade A. You have no A static at AS level, and if you come to A2, you have an A static there. So your A2 is accumulated result of AS and A2. That's the final grade you're going to be securing. If I look at the AS level component only, so at AS level, paper 1 is going to be contributing 31% of the grade. Whatever you are going to be securing, whatever grade you're going to be securing, inshallah, if you get A at AS level, then 31% would be the contribution of paper 1. If you look at paper 2, it would contribute 46% to AS grade. And if you look at paper 3, it's 23% contribution of paper 3 to your AS grade. But since you are going for accumulated, you are going for accelerated A levels, now the percentage would be different. The contribution of each component would be a bit different. And how's that? If I look at the complete A level, now for complete A level, paper 1 is going to be contributing 15.5%. Inshallah, when you secure A grade in A levels, 15.5% of that A would be contributed by paper 1. If I talk about paper 2, 23% would be contributed by paper 2. And if I talk about paper 3 would contribute only 11.5%. If I talk about paper 4, that's the A2 level component, it's going to be contributing 38.5% to your A grade, A static, inshallah. And if I talk about paper 5, it's going to be contributing 11.5% to the A2 grade. Now, paper 3 and paper 5 has the same weightage. They are contributing the same amount of marks to A static. If I talk about paper 2 and paper 4, just look at their weightages and tell me what do you find. Paper 2 and paper 4. The weightage is given in the black bubble.
Paper 2 is lower.
Paper 2 is lower, yeah. Paper 4 is much more. It's almost, not exactly, but almost double. So if it's double, that means its difficulty level would be higher as well. And if it's double, that means the content that would be assessed for paper 4, that's also going to be much greater. If you talk about paper 2, you have just chapter 1 till chapter 11 in paper 2 to be tested, but in paper 4 you have chapter 12 to chapter 25 to be tested. And on top of that, the examiner assumes that whatever you have studied is a part of your knowledge when you are in A2. Whatever you have studied at AS, he makes it built-in, he assumes it to be built-in for A2. So AS component, AS information is all needed at A2 level. Alright? So that this slide gives us a good idea of how inshallah we are going to be going through our papers, how we are going to be following our course of study throughout. So Is there any ambiguity, any question, any problem so far? Is everything clear?
Yeah, it is clear.
All right. So I would want you to make a short notes of these. If you need to jot it down anywhere, I'll give you 2 minutes.
I have wrote it down.
All right, great. Now, the fact we know already is that the examiner has given us 25 chapters to study, 25 chapters to learn. But what is the main theme? What is the central idea of the examiner that he's going to be testing all these 25 chapters on? If I look at the central idea, the examiner has 3 assessment objectives. How many? 3 assessment objectives. Assessment objective 1, assessment objective 2, assessment objective 3. If I look at assessment objective 1, it's knowledge and understanding. If I look at assessment objective 2, it's handling, applying and evaluating information. If I look at assessment objective 3, it's experimental skills and investigation. So there are 3 learning contents, 3 assessment objectives that the examiner is going to use to test all the 25 chapters that he has assigned you to learn. Assessment objective 1 is knowledge and understanding. Now let's see what does he expect us in knowledge and understanding. When we talk about knowledge and understanding, he wants us to know the scientific vocabulary, the terminologies that we use, the conventions that are in practice. He expects us to know the phenomena, the facts, laws, definitions, concepts and theories that are given in the course. He expects us to have a knowledge of the scientific instruments and the apparatus and their operation techniques, how the apparatus is used and what are the safety aspects of a certain apparatus to be used. What are the limitations of a certain apparatus that is going to be used. And if I talk about another learning content, that is examiner expects us scientific quantities to be known and how they are determined, like how is volume going to be measured, how is the length going to be measured, how is a short time interval going to be measured, right? Similarly, examiner expects us to know the scientific and technological applications and their social and economic implications as well. So in knowledge and understanding, this is all that the examiner wants us to know by the day end. This is what the examiner expects us we should have knowledge of. The second learning content, the second assessment objective is handling information, handling, applying and in fact evaluating information. And in this assessment objectives, he wants us to be able to solve problems, manipulate numerical data, and he wants us to use information that he has given. That use information for what? Use the information to identify certain patterns given in that data. Use that information to report trends that are being followed. He wants us to use information to draw conclusions, to reach a conclusion given for a data. And he also wants us to make predictions and conclusions and construct arguments. Why to construct arguments? To support a given hypothesis, to confirm a given hypothesis, to prove a given hypothesis. And he wants us to make sense of new situation given to us. He wants us to be aware of the limitation of the physical theories and physical models that are set out for you in these 25 chapters. Right?
Okay.
Is it too much overwhelming or is it fine so far?
No.
Alright.
Yeah.
So now you must know Ohm's law from your IGCSEs. What is it?
Okay. I don't remember.
Okay. Ohm's law states that voltage and current are directly proportional.
Oh yeah, it does.
Okay. Does it have some limitation? Oh, what is that?
I think when the I don't remember anything right now.
Okay, let's remember it together. Let's recall it together. I think it's the temperature to be kept constant. Is it?
Is it temperature or is it something else?
It's temperature. It's temperature. So the limitation of the Ohm's law is that voltage and current are directly proportional provided temperature is kept constant. Right? So what was the theory? The theory was that voltage and current is directly proportional. What is the limitation? The limitation is that the temperature is to be kept constant. So examiner wants us to be aware of limitations of physical theories. Right? Okay, so there are two learning contents, two learning objectives, or you call it assessment objectives. Number one, it's knowledge and understanding. Number two, it's handling, applying and evaluating information. Right?
Okay.
Now moving on to the third learning objective, and it's experimental skills and investigation. The third learning objective is experimental skills and investigation. What he expects us in this learning objective, he expects us to plan an experiment and investigation. That's the part of the paper 5. He expects us to collect, record and present the observations we make, the readings we take, the measurements we take and the estimates that we do. That's mostly the part of AS paper 3, the practical paper. And the third thing that he expects us in experimental skills and investigation is that we should be able to evaluate methods and quality. What? Evaluate methods and quality of the experimental data. And based on that quality, based on the method of experimental data, we should be able to suggest improvements for the experiments.
Okay.
Right? So that's mostly the third point in the third skill, that is evaluation method 1. That's the part of AS paper 3 question 2, AS paper 3 question 2 and A2 paper 5 question 1. This point is applicable in both these papers. For AS paper 3 it's question 2, for A2 paper 5 it's question 1. Right?
Okay, understood.
So whatever the learning content that we have, whatever the syllabus the examiner has set out for us to learn, all that syllabus, all that learning content is going to be based on 3 learning objectives, 3 assessment objectives. How many? 3. What are the 3 learning objectives? Number 1 is knowledge and understanding. Number 2 is handling, applying and evaluating information. And number 3 is?
Number 3 is experimental skills.
Experimental skills and investigation. Right? Okay. Having done that, now let's move on. How these learning objects contribute to our grade now. We look at the weightage of each of these 3 learning objectives. Okay, we have got an idea that we are going to be tested on these 3 learning objectives, but how much each of these will score us. Now if I talk about at qualification level, now qualification level means how much they contribute in AS, how much they contribute in A2. So the 3 learning objectives contribute this much. See, these are the 3 learning objectives. If I talk about the AS level percentage, then you would find that in AS level, assessment objective 1 contributes 40%, assessment objective 2 contributes 40%, assessment objective 3 contributes 20%. So your AS grade will depend on The three learning contents: 40%, 40%, assessment objective 1, assessment objective 2, and only 20% of the mark is going to be scored by assessment objective 3, right? The same will be copied to the A2 level, that is paper 4 and paper 5. 40%, 40% of assessment objective 1, assessment objective 2, and only 20% of assessment objective 3. So the three learning contents, the three learning objectives that the examiner will be testing on, you have got an idea how much they contribute in AS components, how much they contribute in at A2 level, right?
I understood, yeah.
Now, if I talk about at the component level, how much each of these components, how much each of these objectives is going to contribute to the component, each of the paper that you are going to be attempting, each of the paper that you are going to be going for. Now you should have an idea how much would be assessment objective 1, how much knowledge you should have, and how much information handling skills you should have. So knowledge and handling information is 50% in paper 1, and there's no experimental skills that is tested in paper 1, that's MCQs, right? So in MCQs, no assessment objective 3, no experimental skills, only the knowledge and the skill of using and handling information is needed. So if you have knowledge, if you have learnt all the definitions, if you have learnt all the concepts, you know all the necessary formulas, so that means that knowledge is going to easily score you 50% of the mark, and the remaining 50% of the paper is going to be based on the new data that the examiner has given to you, the new information that the examiner has given to you. You should be able to analyze, evaluate, use that information, right, to solve numerical questions, to solve right? So 50% assessment objective 1 and assessment objective 2. The same is going to be copied for paper 2. Paper 2 has the same 50% of assessment objective 1, assessment objective 2, and no assessment objective 3, right?
Okay.
And if I talk about paper 3 has no assessment objective 1, no knowledge is needed of theory, no data is needed, right? It has no syllabus. In fact, if the examiner can set a question from anywhere, he will let you know what to do, he will guide you step by step what to do, and he will plan a scenario. Using that scenario, you are going to be applying your practical skills. So it's 100% practical skills and investigation paper. There is no assessment objective 1, no assessment objective 3, right?
Okay, understood.
Going to paper 4, that's the main paper, that's the main giant, which has the greatest number of chapters, which has the highest content, which has the highest percentage, right? This is our main paper we are going to be focusing on. So again, in this paper as well, assessment objective 1, assessment objective 2 is 50%, no experimental skill is needed. And last but not the least, it's paper 5, which is again just like paper 3, no assessment objective 1 needed, no assessment objective 2 needed. It all depends on your practical skills at AS level. Using those skills, you should be able to plan and design an experiment.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So now, so far we have not discussed any content of this, or any chapter, any content of the syllabus. We have just got to know the structure of our course. How is the examiner going to be testing us? How is the examiner going to be evaluating us for the assessment objectives, and for the weightage of each component in our grade at AS and A2 levels. Now moving on to the content. If I talk about the syllabus content, for AS you have 11 chapters. Now I have written each of these chapters in different color. A different color means that there's not much overlapping of the two chapters, and if the colors are the same, that means those certain chapters have some similarities, some links. One chapter is directly linked to another, right? If I
Okay.
if I talk about the first chapter, it's physical quantities and units. Now, there was a second chapter 2 years back, which was measurement techniques. It was listed in syllabus, but now it's not listed in the syllabus order that you would be looking at your syllabus, the updated copy for 2024. But that chapter is still included, and that's shifted to the experimental part of the paper. So yes, if it's not mentioned in the syllabus list, we still are go for that paper, for that topic. We have to do that, right? So if I talk about paper 2, it's kinematics. You have already done kinematics at your IGCSE level, but that was a very basic part. Now here it would be much advanced. And now when I talk about A levels, it says advanced level. So when the Cambridge people say advanced, they mean it's advanced level, right? They mean it has a lot of more concepts. The same grade that you are going to be scoring at IGCSEs, to maintain that grade you would be needing a much more hard work. In fact, double the hard work that you did at your IG level. Okay.
Okay.
Now the third topic is dynamics. Then the fourth topic is forces, density and pressure. The fifth topic is work, energy and power. And the fifth topic. And the sixth topic is deformation of solids. So if you see these four chapters, they are listed in one color. They are much similar. Each chapter is interlinked with the previous chapter, and the concepts are reused again and again. So this chunk of the syllabus is much similar. Then it's waves and superposition. It's not only the general waves that you studied at the IG level, it is much more advanced. It has a whole new lot of science at A level, right? So yes, I have written it in red to indicate its importance and to indicate its difficulty level. So you would find many new concepts and at times confusing, but if you take it from day one carefully, inshallah ta'ala, you should not face a problem. Then it's electricity and DC circuits. Electricity and DC circuits, again, it's just two chapters that you can see on the screen, but it has a whole lot of content, much more than your O levels, IGCSEs. Again, some new concepts over here. The first part, the electricity part, when we are going to be doing this, you would feel that we are doing a revision of IGCSEs, most of it. But when you go to the second part, the DC circuits, you would find the difference. Similarly, for waves and superposition, the first portion would be seeming to be a revision of IGCSEs, but as you go on, you would see the advancement. Then the last topic is particle physics. The particle physics is the radioactivity of your IGCSE, and added to that much more content, right? So this is the whole syllabus for the first year for AS level. Now since you are planning to go together for the 2 years, let's find the A2 syllabus. A2 level syllabus, it has chapter 12 to onward to chapter 25. The first chapter is circular motion, or what we call motion in a circle, but it's not the simple circular motion that you studied at IG. You are going to be looking at a whole new lot of formulas in this chapter. Then it's the gravitational fields, and these two chapters are very much similar, very much related to each other. All the concepts that you are going to be learning in chapter 12, circular motion, is going to be applied in chapter 13, that's the gravitational field. Then it's temperature, ideal gases, and thermodynamics. This is basically the thermal part of the syllabus. Now when you are just coming from IGCSEs, you must remember that in your IGCSEs you did not talk about latent heat, specific latent heat of vaporization. Did you talk about that?
No, I haven't.
Alright, So basically all the numerical part of these concept was removed from IGCSEs just in your batch. Like your seniors that appeared before you last year, they did latent heat, specific latent heat and all that. So when they are doing this A2 portion of the syllabus, they would have some idea from IGCSEs. But since you have not done any latent heat concept, so you would find many new concepts over here at A2 level, latent heat, specific latent heat and so on, right? Now this new chapter, a brand new chapter, you would have no sense of this from IGCSEs. It's oscillations, or more simply, more popular name for this chapter is simple harmonic motion. Then you have this chapter 18, which is electric fields and capacitance. Now if I talk about electric fields was divided on AS and A2 part. First part of it was usually tested in AS and then A2, but since past 2 years the AS part is also shifted to A2. So now the complete electric field topics is going to be studied at A2 level. And for the first portion of this chapter, you would find the past paper questions from AS, not in A2, because this chapter has been recently shifted to A2. Then when I talk about capacitance, it's a complete new topic. Then you have magnetic fields and alternating currents. Alternating currents, you would have a little idea from my GCSEs, but not much. It has many new concepts, but these alternating currents have some concepts overlapping from oscillations. And when I talk about overlapping of concepts, you would find that motion in a circle has its concepts used in gravitational fields, and when you are done with those two chapters, you would find many of those theories replicated in electric fields as well, many of those theories used in magnetic fields as well. So if you do motion in a circle and gravitational fields strongly enough, you would find electric field and magnetic field very easy. Then you have another brand new topic, quantum physics. You would have no idea of this previously, so yeah, this is another new topic. Then you have chapter 23, that's the nuclear physics, much more advanced from AS level as well. You are going to be using E is equals to mc square, the Einstein mass energy equation over here. Then it's the medical physics, and medical physics is basically the applications of physics. It mainly consists of sound, ultrasound and all those phenomena, scanning, PET scanning. Then it's the astronomy and cosmology. Now so far that I had talked about brand new topics, those brand new topics were brand new for you, but they were part of the syllabus previously as well, right? But if I talk about the last chapter that's in red, it's a brand new topic. This topic was not in our syllabus at all. This is being a completely new topic added to the syllabus, so it's brand new. It might not be that brand new for you now, because in your IGCSEs this topic was also added this year, and this topic was the space physics. So if you have studied that well, you must have many concepts coming from there and helping you at this level, right?
Okay.
And this last note that I have marked with an exclamation, I have already discussed you at the beginning of the slide. What is it? Just read it out.
Content of A levels is assumed knowledge of A levels.
AS is the first year, AS level, right? A level is the A2.
Yeah.
We call A2 as the A level, right?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So that's the idea. That's the syllabus content. That's the structure of the paper. And having discussed all that, can you tell me, how did you find physics in your IGCSEs? Was it difficult, easy, interesting, boring?
No, it was really good. I liked the first few chapters. AC currents was a bit hard.
How did you find space
overall
physics?
it was good.
How was
Sorry, I think
how did you find space physics? How was space physics?
it was easy. It was not that hard, but
Hmm.
there was not many past paper questions.
Yes, that's true.
But that
That's
way
true.
was a
That not many. In fact, there were no past paper questions. So there were only
mm-hmm.
some questions set by the examiner as an example, as a sample, and then we had like if I talk about myself, I collected some questions from other sister boards, AQA and other, which had this topic previously tested for many years. So yes, we could have a good bench. How was momentum?
It was fine.
Momentum, all right. And what about waves? Sorry, lens.
Lens was also good, but that didn't come for the exam.
Okay. And the refraction and reflection, total internal reflection, how did you find that?
That was easy. Everything was easy except electricity.
Hmm.
That was very hard. Electricity and DC currents.
Okay. Okay, can you just tell me something about Lenz's law?
Lenz's law. Okay. I don't know anything.
All right. Okay, just don't tell me the exact law. Just give me an idea.
Okay. I think this was Lenz's law was in uh, it was in the I don't know which chapter, but I think it was about electric motive force and something like that.
Okay, okay, just say it. So I'll complete it. No worries. Just say it. Why I'm asking all this? Okay, just answer another question before Lenz's law. Why are you going for Excel? Like the normal way of A levels is the 2 years. Why are you trying to give it in 1 year?
I was gonna give AS on October, November,
Hmm.
but then there was an issue, so I have to give the whole thing on June.
Okay. So do you think you are gonna be able to do this because it's much advanced? It's more than 4 times of your IGCSEs. You would be needing a lot of hard work and consistency to do this.
I know, I have been told that for bio and chemistry.
Mm, yeah, and for physics is the same. So actually, why I'm asking you a few concepts so that I can know that how will you go about it for A levels. So,
I need a recall of everything, but I think if I do that, I'll be good to go.
all right, fine, fine. So, all right, no worries. Best wishes for you. May Allah
So,
succeed you at every step in life.
okay.
Okay, so just give me a feedback of the today's class. How did you find it?
It was really good.
Okay.
I would continue.
All right, great, great. So, fine, we'll keep it till here and we'll talk about the rest of the things with you or with your parents or later on.
Okay, inshallah.
Okay.
How would we finish the syllabus by January? Would we be able to finish?
By January, not by January. It's a lot. See, I have told you for each of the chapter. It's not just those topics that you have studied in O level IGCSEs. It's much more content. For AS level, we can think about that to be finished by February. But for the complete A level, you will have to go till March. And going till March, it means that we are going to be doing topical questions along as we do first chapter. We are going to be doing its topical questions. I have compiled the questions from 2000 till 2020 topical, including all variants, right? So as we do one chapter, I'll do a few questions with you myself from the past papers to get an idea, and I'll assign you a task. So by the end of the syllabus, you are going to be done with the past papers too. That's why it will go along till March. All right.
So, but we would finish it before May, June, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Maybe the last month, inshallah, we are going to be doing revision stuff and yearly papers. So we would have the knowledge, we would have all the information Now the last month we are going to be needing practice to practice time, to manage time. So the last month would be there for time management. We are going to be doing full length papers, inshallah. And it's going to be
Inshallah,
okay.
okay.
So since
How many classes
if
a week?
it's okay, if it was just AS level, it would have been 3 classes a week. But since you are doing complete A level, now it's going to be 6 classes a week. 6 classes, one class is 1 hour usually, right? 1 hour, one class is 1 hour. So for AS level, 3 classes, for A2, 3 classes. So it would sum up to 6 classes.
Okay.
All right. And one more thing, would you be studying individually, or are you planning to join the small groups that I'm already going with?
If I join a group, they would already started, right?
No,
or
no,
at
it's
least stuck in it.
the first class that I have already conducted for a group was this class that I have done with you. So I did it individually. Otherwise, I would have called you to that group, right? So they are not ahead. They are not much ahead, right?
So they didn't start anything like any studies thing.
Yes. They have not studied any topic. I have just given them the introduction, and that's it. Right?
Okay, I can join that group then, inshallah.
Great. So nice class with you. See you in the next class, inshallah. I'll share with you all the schedule and everything.
Inshallah, assalamualaikum. Take care.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.